Welcome to AT 510, Evidence-Based Practice in Clinical Decision Making. I want to give you an overview of the course structure. This will be an online course with both asynchronous content as well as optional synchronous sessions. There are due dates throughout the course, but it's a self-paced course by design, and the hope is by getting this information to you early, you can get started ahead of time, because the way that January works is we've got about 17 course days over about 3 weeks, but if you expand the beginning and the end of the weeks, over 4 weeks if we go Monday through Friday in there. So you're looking at about 22 and a half hours of coursework designed for this a week. You combine that with the 30 hours of clinical work in the athletic training room, and you're over that 50 hours a week by just a bit. And so the idea here is hopefully by getting this to you early, you can get started ahead of time as well. So let's take a look now at the course. We've got 3 books for this course, and you can see those here. This is going to be the primary lecture book with supplemental from this one, and then this will be the semester project. And the course is divided into 2 different major components based on the course objectives. The first 3 objectives, looking at the concepts of evidence-based medicine again, specifically the clinically relevant questions, and evaluating the quality of research and analyzing their implications, are going to be the focus of the lecture and unit exam components. So the synchronous sessions, the asynchronous video lectures, as well as then the unit exams will all focus on these first 3 and will come primarily out of these 2 books. The second component that I'm not going to spend as much time on in this video because I have a separate introduction to the semester project video, is now going to be on documentation and using documentation and information and healthcare informatics to guide clinical practice. So you'll see more about that in that introductory video listed there. So if you go to the course homepage now, everything is outlined for you as far as the different components and how things go. Start with the introduction and this FLIS classroom assignment. I'll show you that here in a second. And then the semester project introduction videos. Look for the introduction video posted right here that will explain how to do the semester project. So looking at each day now with that, again, the 2 components are listed there. Course topics are the first part where you have readings for you to do out of the different textbooks, and then video lectures associated with that. For each video lesson, then, what I want you to do is to do a flipped class assignment with that. And so with that, here is the form that you can use. And you will upload these each day, each time for the synchronous session as well. So you first start by taking notes from the presentation, right, as well as any readings. Then I want you to come to the synchronous section with some questions for us to talk about and answer. So I have some prompts here to hopefully give you guys something that we can talk about at the synchronous sessions. So the first part is, what did you learn from the assigned presentation or reading? What are the key points? What was new or insightful? Again, you don't have to answer every single component with that, but answer at least some of that for that specific video lesson and reading. How will the acquired knowledge help in your professional life? How is the material relevant to the practice of athletic training? Again, now trying to get into some application. And then with that, what questions do you have about the material? What was confusing? What needs further clarification or context? What is one resource that can help explain the material further for yourself or your classmates? So when you go through here, this is your area for questions. So one of the first things I will do in the synchronous sessions will be to ask for different questions. You'll be able to type those in. And then here offers, what do you want to know more about? So going back to the home page and the different modules, for each video lesson, I would like you to spend some time now creating those flipped class assignments. But we're only going to turn those in at synchronous sessions. So for the synchronous session, each synchronous session then is going to be optional. It's at noon and it will be online. And so you can see here you won't have access to these components until I share them with you, but we'll be doing some interactive slides associated with that. And then I've got an interactive PowerPoint as well that will guide that, and we'll have the opportunity to answer questions. We'll talk more about that as we go through. And we do the first synchronous session on purpose right away so we can get a feeling of that after a single component and a single one. So in the synchronous session assignments for Flip Class 1, it will tell you what video lessons you need to be doing. So for this first one, it's just simply video lesson 1. But if we go down now and look at the second flipped class assignment there, and the different video lessons associated with that, the second synchronous session is going to be January 10th. And you can see now here, if we go to the flipped class, it will tell you what video lessons you need to be uploaded, right? So this is video lessons 2 through 6. And you can combine these a little bit, but really it's easiest if you do one flipped class for each video lesson and the associated readings. And then you will upload these to Canvas for grading prior to the synchronous session. At that same note, then, the video lessons, right, are presented there, right, and you have the different video lessons. I've included a more extensive PowerPoint as well, so this is more abbreviated. This has all of the PowerPoints in there, but maybe a little bit more as well. And so we'll continue through these. You'll have course topics as you continue to move, synchronous sessions, and then you will have 2 exams. These are not cumulative in nature. They are online. You can take them whenever you're ready. With that, the first one will be the 18th there, and we'll cover everything up to that portion. These are multiple choice. The first exam has more content and more questions associated with that, and we will have synchronous sessions leading up to that, as well as a synchronous session on the day of the exam at noon, with the idea then you can take the exam anytime before midnight after that. And you continue on. Finally, we will have the final exam, again not cumulative, just through the last component on the 27th, which is the last official day of class. Also important to note is that we have no class activities scheduled for Martin Luther King Day, so that works in as well. But since we're working on this on an individual time line, whether or not you do work on that is up to you, but there's nothing assigned for that day. The last thing I want to show you is a basic analysis of the time associated with this class. So I divided this up primarily based on tasks with chapters. For each chapter there has how long the video lesson is with that. We give you additional time for that beyond just watching it. So you can see here the direct contact hours is closer to 3/4 of an hour, whereas the total time is just over 35 minutes. So additional time there. Out of class time comes from the different components as far as assignments and reading. So this first one is about 23 pages. So I give you 2¼ hours for reading that, and then the assignment here, I give you 20 minutes for each 20 minutes for each flipped class assignment with that as well. We also have the 7 1-hour sync sessions. Exam number 1 is 90 questions, give you a minute per question. Exam number 2 is 60 questions. And then you can see here now, not complete because I don't have all of these filmed at this point in time, but getting closer. With that, we still got a little bit of wiggle room in case I go over with that. But for each of those components, we've got the video assignments. Not a lot of reading for that, but then I do have these worksheet assignments for you. I give you 90 minutes for each worksheet. 2 hours for the first one because it's 2 smaller worksheets. And then you have some additional notes listed there. So you can see how we get out. Again, this will change slightly. I will put a link to this when it is all finished within the final email that you get for this. So again, if you have any questions beforehand, let me know. Otherwise, look for that other introductory video for the semester project.